Let's talk about our mothers and how they affected our fashion sense, our desire for a certain quality related to our fashion, and maybe even our obsession with fashion. So, I actually grew up with a mom who was a nurse by trade, and she's no longer with us, so I can't ask questions that I would love to ask. One of the questions I would love to ask her is, Mom, how did you learn to sew and make patterns and create such beautiful clothing when that's really not your profession? My mom could take a blouse and decide to duplicate it, and she would create the pattern for the sleeves and for the collar and other aspects of the design and make a very close likeness or an exact likeness to that blouse. Her sewing was impeccable, as was her total sense of style. My mom was a nurse, as I stated, and I never ever saw her where her uniform was not starched and pressed and wrinkle free, as well as stark white. She often hung her uniform on the clothing line, and from what I understand, the sun gets whiter. But when she did not use that, she'd use something called bluing, which actually works with the color wheel theory on how opposite colors on the color wheel sometimes can kind of like, I guess, wash each other out. This blue liquid that she would pour in when she was rinsing her uniform would help to bring out the brightness, the whiteness of her uniform. And so her hat, same thing. It was always nice. Her hair, flawless. Her hosiery, no runs. And those shoes were also a nice polished white. She took great pride in being a nurse. But once again, she could sew like you wouldn't believe. And so there was a time when she knew how much I loved The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. And if you remember this, give this a thumbs up. Dorothy had on a blue and white gingham dress. And I loved that dress. I loved the whole book, the story, and eventually when the movie came out, I loved that as well. So what happened was my mom made me a dress like the one Dorothy wore. It was also in blue and white gingham. And I knew she was making it because I had to stand on a stool so she could do my measurements. And then when it was time to hem it, right before it was finished, I stood on the stool for the last time. And after she created the exact place where the hem was supposed to be or the hemline was supposed to be, she got to work finishing that dress and then ironed it, including the hem. And I was able to wear it the next day, which was either my birthday or close to my birthday. What I did not know is that my mom was also secretly making herself a mature adult woman blue and white gingham dress. So I also didn't know she was going to visit my class. She came to school and it was during math time. And here she comes wearing that dress. And she had lunch with me as well as stayed through that class. I even worked a math problem on the board. And let me tell you, math is not my best subject. I'm a school teacher right now and I teach it, but back then I kind of felt a little faint when I knew I was going to have to go to the board and show my mother what I knew. But I had a wonderful teacher and she helped guide me through the problem. And I really appreciated that. But more than anything, I appreciated my loving mother who went to be with the Lord when I was 28 years old. I have more stories about her that are related to fashion. And I would love for you to comment in down below your experience on how your mother impacted your fashion sense. I also was blessed to write a book about a Christian fashion designer. It's titled, sorry, the nostalgia has definitely triggered some emotions, Come Through Benita, Seamstress on Fire. It's about a Christian fashion designer, and I would I will share the link in the description box, and you can order directly from the printer. I would suggest you get 2 copies, one for yourself and one to give as a gift to someone on your Christmas list. Come Through Benita, Seamstress on Fire. Don't forget to comment.